Hello and welcome to another edition of the Failchildren podcast. I am one of your hosts, Scooter,
I'm Kiwi.
and today we have a very, very special guest, the extremely online, the Antifa super soldier himself.
Jenkins. Jenkins, introduce yourself.
I'm none of those things. I'm not even an anti-super soldier. I'm still in like basic training for that stuff.
Oh, sorry, we didn't want to misrepresent you.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to where we are, you're much higher in the ranks than us.
Yeah. We're still stuck going to the DSA meetings.
I don't
We
even
actually-
have a DSA chapter, so you're higher than me on that.
No DSA chapter at all?
No, I'm in the Panhandle of Florida. It's like the only part that doesn't have a DSA.
That's really rough. Ours is pretty small, but
There's
it
like
exists.
5 people, and 2 of them are like 88-year-old anarchists.
Okay, there's like
That's
30
pretty
total.
hardcore.
There's like 30 total. 25 are totally sucked or just liberals.
They're like, I tried to murder William McKinley.
Yeah, there's like 2 ancient anarchists. Yeah. And then like our DSA is really interesting because there's like a bunch of cowboy communists in it because we're in Idaho. So you just have these people that just ended up becoming Marxists just through pure happenstance and who would have otherwise been like absolutely Trumpers. So that's kind of what the deal is. They're just like they would have been like the sharecropper communist in the Dust Bowl kind of guys. Bunch of those dudes. Really angry.
Nice.
I
don't know what they would look like in my area. It'd probably be like some people that used to be troops, because there's so many troops here.
Seems like I swear that I've known like 5 or 6 ex-troops and like through like DSA stuff and leftist stuff. Seems like there's a lot of disaffected troops that defect, if you will.
You were a troop, right?
I tried to be as recently as a year ago, but then I got hurted.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but it's for the
How
best.
badly? Yeah.
Well,
A Russian troop.
I had enlisted in the army a year and a month ago, and I went to basic, and I ended up hurting myself in the first week. I got like 4 stress fractures in my left leg.
Oh no,
Yeah.
bro, that sucks.
So they took me out of basic training, and like it was so bad that they put me in a wheelchair for a little bit because they didn't know how bad I was broke. But like my heel was like 70% broken through, and my femur, the toughest bone in your body, like 60% of the way through.
How did that happen? Like, was it just because of some exercises or?
Well, I have osteoporosis. My legs have osteopenia, but like other parts of my body are porotic.
Damn.
But it was just like, I don't know what caused it exactly, but it was a small fracture in my cuboid, like on the side of my foot, that led to me limping. And while I'm limping and trying to keep up with everybody, that made it worse. And
Yeah.
it happened really quickly because I'd only been in basic less than a week when these fractures started.
Yeah, you're just pushing yourself too hard.
That reminds me of my dad. My dad got drafted in Vietnam, and his plane went down, and he got captured by the Viet Cong, and he gained the names and his locations of all his comrades, sold them all out, and yeah, he's basically like a rat coward that sold out all of his allies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but he can still
Your
raise his
dad's-
arms, right?
Hell yeah, he
Yeah.
can.
That's the main goal.
Mhm.
My grandpa, unironically, did get drafted, and he is disabled. He has the same disability that I do, where he gets like randomly paralyzed, but he is like too proud to tell him that he like would absolutely not be able to be in the army. So he just like went, and then the first time he just like got paralyzed, they're like, "Bro, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got this thing where sometimes I just can't move." And they're like, "You can't be in the army. Like you have
Dude,
to
you
go
can't
home."
join.
Yeah.
You can't.
Wait,
he's like, "All
and
right."
you said he
So
got
just went
drafted?
home. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he still like didn't. Wow, what a guy!
Yeah. He's just like, "Well,
Like
I
a
gotta
reverse
go."
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't have to go.
Yeah. He
Uh,
literally didn't have to go. Yeah.
my
And
grandfather was also drafted, but he got blowed up in the face by a booby trap.
for real?
Yeah, they had to put his face back together so he doesn't look like the same person that he was back then. He's all like
So
he's
he's
like
like, he's
cut out
good,
of
but he just
stone.
looks different.
Well, he's also deaf. But yeah, he does. His face is a little disfigured, but he just like he's not as pretty as he used to be.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
You know that one joke that it's like, yeah, my grandpa actually died in the Holocaust. He
Or
fell off a guard tower, right? You know that one? I
yeah.
used to see people with that, like after they had all heard that joke before, I'd be like, yeah, my grandpa died in the Holocaust. And they'd be like, "Phew, what, he fall off a guard tower or something?" I'd be like, no, he died in the gas chamber.
That's also still you still don't have any family members that died in gas chambers. So
No, my grandpa served valiantly in World War II in Guadalcanal,
oh yeah,
fighting the Japanese. He still calls them Japs to this day.
I would
yeah, you
too.
really can't. Yeah, you just can't get that out of the grandpas. You know.
No, you'll never do it.
Same thing with my other grandpa in Korea. He yeah,
Still drops hard G's.
yeah, he died with unpleasant feelings towards Koreans, definitely.
Well, I've got a
But
Holocaust story for y'all though. Before we get off
yeah,
that
Let's hear
topic,
it.
I had another relative. I think it was an uncle on my mother's side. He had been there for the liberation of one of the concentration camps, and he died shortly after, because of an eating disorder that he had developed after seeing, what he saw.
damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, I think that it's insane to think how many people it affected. My grandpa that got drafted, the only reason that his family, because he's Polish Jewish, and his family only emigrated to the US kind of just as things were like heating up in Germany to kind of escape everything that was going on. Because they're like, yeah, we just got to get out of here. And my grandma met him, and she was also an immigrant. Well, he was an immigrant, his family was, but she immigrated from Belgium, and she was born during the Battle of the Bulge, like in the final battle of World War II as it was going down. And her dad was part of like the Belgians in the Flemish people in Belgium that were like really upset about how in Belgium everything was in French because the French people had kind of like taken over the Flemish people. And that was kind of like Hitler's rhetoric that there was more Flemish people, and he was gonna, if they were like on his side, he would make sure that the Flemish people got a role in government and everything would be in Flemish instead of the signs all being in French and them having to all learn French growing up and all this shit. And so he like supported Hitler, my great grandfather, kind of like a little bit, but he'd never met a Jewish person. He had no idea about any of Hitler's rhetoric, didn't know what was going on, but he was just like, yeah, I don't like the French people, so I'm going to be part of this. And then my grandma just like moved to the United States, ended up marrying a really nice Jewish dude. And she's like, yeah, that's just how it turns out sometimes, you know?
All right, so what are we gonna talk about? Debates? Is that what you wanted to talk about, Kaylee?
I did want to go over the debates.
All
I wanted
right.
to get
Should we pull up a thing and then just go one by one, each of the people, and then just talk trash on them?
I'm down
yes.
for that.
Yeah,
All right, let's see.
I wanted to get Jenkins' point of view on the debates. I haven't gotten to kind of give my opinions on them. My overarching feeling is that Bernie did a lot stronger this time than he did last time. I think that he got really fired up, and I loved the part where he was able to call out CNN for their bullshit questions. That pissed me off so bad, dude.
Yeah,
So bad.
I think that like one thing that really helped out this time was the fact that he was on the stage with Elizabeth Warren, and I was worried how that would work out because I figured it would just work out really well for Liz, but it turns out
Right.
that they were a sort of tag team, and they were just like batting down the stupid liberal bullshit. And like Bernie got really heated. I love to see that because I'm heated.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I get actually fired up when I see him like willing to call out not only the other candidates but also like the system as a whole that he's forced to exist within, with the debates themselves, and so just like the advertisements in between the debates, like for the pharmaceutical companies, and the way that Jake Tapper was framing questions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, as
And
soon as he
I think
brought up
you're
the advertisements, Jake Tapper's like, all right, next question.
yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that I really wanted to talk about that like fucking blew my mind in the debate that I thought was absolutely insane is Jake Tapper asking Elizabeth Warren the question about nukes and
Oh my
like
God.
grilling her about nukes. And he's like, do you really think it's a good idea for the United States to tie its hands like that? And Liz, her idea is, hey, we should never use a nuke unless someone else does it first.
Yeah. It was
Which
like
is
signing,
like the most
signing
reasonable
the agreement.
policy
Yeah, signing
I've
the
ever heard
agreement
in my life. And Jake Tapper's over here like grilling her on that. Like, what, Jake? Do you want to like use a preemptive nuke? Like, do you want to use an unprovoked nuke? Like, that is just fucking so stupid from the CNN war machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think-
like I don't think that we should even respond to a nuclear strike. Like, what's that gonna do for the world if we destroy it because somebody wanted to destroy us? Like, if somebody wants to nuke us, so be it. But I mean, I don't want more people to die. I don't want the world to be uninhabitable just because of nuclear proliferation.
Yeah, and at the most charitable, I think that the United States likes to keep the idea on the table that we would be willing to nuke someone if they were fucking with us in a different way.
Right, so we could bully them.
Yeah, it's like a bullying tactic. Like even if you're not nuking us yet and you're just bombing us in another way, like with other kinds of missiles, we want to keep the option. We're not going to sign an agreement that we wouldn't nuke you for that. Which I think that's the least bad way to interpret what the policy is, and that is still absurd. That we just want to be able to be the big guys.
I think it's just like they want to keep that strategic option of if we get into an unwinnable war, we can still use that nuclear weapon to end it. Because I mean, there was that proposal during the Vietnam War. I forget which general, but like he got fired for proposing to nuke the border. Was it Vietnam or Korea?
It was both. There were like five. There are five of the really close calls that like people often talk about. There's 5 different occasions where we almost fucking ended the world during like that post World War II era.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's so finicky when you like have these people who just like have their finger over the button and are just waiting for orders. Like things get really dangerous.
Well, thankfully, our nuclear infrastructure isn't so simple as putting a finger over a button, but they use like the old floppy disks that are still floppy. Like our nuclear weapons are so archaic and analog, and I think it should stay that way. Because what if we digitize it?
It's over.
We're gonna give like artificial intelligent computer systems the ability to run it. Be like, well, just in case.
What was the one thing that we were watching that was like there are 9 nuclear bombs in the world that like the United States and Soviet Union just lost?
I think it was more than 9.
We just
that are
lost.
missing.
It happens a lot. Like aircraft will be armed with nuclear weapons and they'll go down in like the ocean, won't be recovered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like an alarmingly high amount of nukes that are just like unaccounted for. Yeah.
Like I am all for non-nuclear proliferation. I think that we should disarm every nuke that we have.
Yeah.
And,
Shoot them into the fucking sun.
Even if other countries have nukes, I think we should get rid of all of ours first. I don't even care about if we're doing it on the same pace as like our other nuclear rivals like China or Russia. Like just get rid of all of our nukes.
I think that even like Elizabeth Warren's nuclear strategy is like a conservative one. She is still leaving the option open to nuke someone if we get nuked first. And it's like I don't understand that ideology. Like if someone came and murdered my family like in their house, like I would not go buy a gun and murder their family. Like that just is causing more ultimate harm to people that didn't deserve it.
You don't like an eye for an eye?
It's not even an eye for an eye. It's like murdering innocent people who are not associated with the ones who made the decision to pull the nuke.
Yeah, you're right. Ultimately, it's just like so many lives are destroyed down the line.
Civilians,
Yeah,
women
civilian
and
lives.
children.
You know, I've changed my stance on nuclear weapons. I think that if somebody nukes us, we should nuke ourselves as well to flex. That's how
Yeah, just
that's how I usually finish my civilization games. Is I nuke myself on the way out.
Like, fuck, that scared the
Yeah.
shit out of him.
yeah, that's like when you get in a fight with someone and then you just like punch yourself in the face just to show them how crazy you are.
Or like that Louis C.K. bit where he's like, I'm not scared of ISIS. I'm just gonna kill myself. What's ISIS gonna do to me if I just kill myself?
Everyone who was scared killed themselves. Well, I guess we'll go home. Okay. Hickenlooper, obviously.
He's my number one, probably.
Number one from night one.
Hickey pooper.
I think that Hickey Pooper.
Frickin' damn it. Never mind. Forget I tried to joke.
I think that a Marianne Williamson Hickenlooper duo would be like just harnessing untold energies. And
it would be light and dark energies at the same time.
Yeah, I think it would balance it out. And
it would be like
yin yang.
A 10,000-year-old. I think Hickenlooper's like 10,000. He's at least forever years old. He's a vampire. Every time he goes outside, the sun melts his skin.
Dude, did you see his Giddy Up ad?
Oh my god, his Giddy Up ad was so fucking weird.
Did you see that, Jenkins? His ad that he...
No, I have not seen his Giddy Up ad.
He did like a political campaign ad that was like a bunch of people talking about how they were pro Hickenlooper, just like normal ass people, and they all seemed like they were being held at gunpoint, having to say nice things about Hickenlooper, like just so scripted. And then at the end, everyone's like, giddy up, just a bunch of that kind of just cuts to everyone saying giddy up, and that was it. It was like just something out of just like a fever dream I had. I was like, this is not real, dude. This is not something that passed any kind of scrutiny. Okay.
Y'all know how like he had that what's it called? Like he actually drank fracking fluid at like the thingamajig. Didn't they ritualistically do it? Like some skull and bones fracking fluid type of stuff. Like they get in a coffin and then they just take a sip of fracking fluid.
Rat on themselves. It's the fracking oil.
Yeah, it's how you get to join like the billionaire oil guys
fracking cult.
Yeah.
The cult of pillaging the earth for everything it's got.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I understand when people say that like Hickenlooper is the black pill candidate. He's the one we just elect Hickenlooper and then we get to die quickly, painlessly.
Yeah, the earth just burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, I've changed my stance on nuclear weapons again. Because I am ironically a pacifist. I think that we should not only deliver the first nuclear strike, we should deliver all of the nuclear strikes, first, second, third, and the end. So that, we can destroy capitalism with a baptism of nuclear hellfire, and then our space comrades can help us.
Right, yeah.
Nothing can cleanse society better than nuclear weapons.
Yeah, I don't know much about Posadism, other than it's just kind of like an ironic ideology of like ending the world and starting anew with like aliens. Are dolphins involved, or is that
cetaceans, so aquatic mammals, whales, dolphins,
big-brained fishes.
Yeah, the big-brained fishes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's ufology involved. But basically the idea is transhumanism and the things that limit technological development is capitalism and bureaucracy. So Basadis,
gotcha.
he was a Trotskyist, and so he was critical of the USSR and the West, the US, all that.
Okay.
I kind of figure that's the only way to be.
You're a Trotskyist?
I mean, there's no doubt that the Soviet Union just turned to shit like pretty quickly. I think that, the Soviet Union could have been a great thing, just like the United States could have been a great thing. I mean, along the way,
could've, would've, should've, shit.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like there were people along the way in United States history, just like there were in like Soviet history, that were like in it for the right reasons, like to make a great society, but along the way, it just got hijacked.
Yeah. You think it always will be? You're hopeless?
Probably.
I have hope.
Well, y'all want to steer it
After
back
the-
to the
after the-
elections? You want to steer it back to electoralism?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get on it. So we talked about Hickey.
So every
about Hickey
time
Pooper.
every time Pete Buttigieg opens his mouth, I don't even know what he's saying because I get so bored that my eyes glaze over and I go into a state of boredom that is just frustrating and bad.
Yes, for some reason, also Buttigieg has managed to be seen as like part of the far left by conservatives, and I don't know how that ended up happening, but I've been seeing it more and more that he is like part of the radical left, like Ben Shapiro's lumping him in with the radical left instead of the moderate Democrats. Maybe because he's talking about like healthcare a little more.
He almost went on the Rubin report.
I think it's
Yeah.
because he deliberately wants to check all the what's it called, all the identity politics boxes.
Mm.
Because he's
That's a very good point.
He's a troop. He's gay. He's Christian somehow.
Ugh.
Oh, is that a
Ugh.
controversial take? Sorry, Protestants.
No. I'm just I'm just imagining being that. I'm imagining
Yeah, I'm
being
imagining
a,
how
being
tough
a
that must
Christian
be
gay
to be
troop.
like,
Be so rough.
just reading the Bible, be like, ooh, ow,
I was just-
ooh.
I'm just imagining how he exists in the world.
And then he goes to like sees the Westboro Baptist Church like protesting troops' funerals,
Yeah.
like gays, soldiers. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, it's gotta hurt, man.
Ooh. But y'all read that? Have y'all read that current affairs article that Nathan J. Robinson wrote about Pete? It's called All About Pete.
I haven't.
You
Okay.
should, because it's really good. But I mean, it just goes over how fake Pete is. He's such a fake person, but it talks about how he checks all the boxes. Like they say, like he's a mayor of a small town from the Midwest, so he's not like a DC elite. But he's also he went to Oxford. He's a Rhodes Scholar, so he's not a rube, is the quote, I think. But
Gotcha.
I mean, he's all these things that neoliberals love to just like put into one person. It's just
That's a very good point. He does kind of exist. It's almost like he was like procedurally generated. You know,
procedurally generated Pete Buttigieg.
for this like moment in time. You know.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, procedurally generated Pete Buttigieg. Oof. Okay.
Yeah, the more I look into Pete, the more I realize like how full of shit he is. Like, out of all the like, I've looked at his policy stances like that he's had in South Bend, and it seems like he's like a borderline like John Kasich Republican.
Yeah, he basically was trying to like gentrify the whole town, right?
Yeah.
His policy was that if homeowners couldn't afford to make renovations to their homes, that he would just bulldoze it. So that's
Ugh. God, that sucks so bad.
yeah.
What a bad guy.
So
He's not our friend.
you know who's one of the funniest candidates in the race that just watching him tank in the polls is fucking hilarious, and that is
Beto.
Beto.
I knew
Beto
you were
O'Rourke.
gonna, I knew you were gonna say Beto. Yeah. What is Beto doing? Beto.
Well, he's not
They
speaking
were
enough
trying
Spanish.
to make Beto happen. Yeah.
He needs more Spanish.
He needs more Spanish, and I would vote for him if he went back to his roots as like, a cyberpunk anarchist hacktivist.
Right. If we were in the 80s right now and we had Beto, he would probably be someone that would like sleep on our couch.
Yeah, exactly.
He would be like one of the crust punks that hangs out with us.
Yeah. What happened, Beto? He got poisoned somewhere along the way.
Well, the
And
thing
then obviously-
was that, like, well, he's got that billionaire wife, right? And he's,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Billionaire wife?
Yeah, he's got a billionaire wife. I think she's a billionaire, but he's got a super rich wife that he doesn't talk about a whole lot because, one, ladies love the Beto, and two, please don't notice that I'm bourgeoisie.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the death sentence.
But yeah, like
They're always calling out
I
everyone.
think his wife is also like super involved in charter schools,
Ugh.
and a lot of
my
these candidates are, including the bookman Cory Booker.
They are not our friends.
No.
Know what I really want to see? I want to see like a fucking super far left candidate that just knows they're gonna lose but is just like radically left. Like he kneels during the national anthem before. He's just like
That's gravel, basically.
Yeah, that's the gravel
Totally
teens.
left.
Except they're like they're not really left. They're just like
Yeah, what are they? What the fuck are they doing? They keep tweeting just absurd shit.
like the head gravel kid, David Ox. Like he wants to like do ROTC, and it's like, come on, dude. You're
Well, the
you're
whole
talking
point
the
is
talk,
you're
but you're yet like when it's time for you to walk, you're gonna walk straight into the Air Force as an officer. You're gonna be the good troop who changes things, like I was gonna be.
yeah. Like, come on, man. You're like, oh, the whole anti-imperialism stance, but then changing the system from the inside, or
it's like my friend who said they were be a cop and just like never arrest anyone. It's like that's
Good
not how it
luck,
works,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, you'd get fired as a cop for not
Yeah.
arresting people, but it's just like it's still they're like 17, 18 years old. They're still figuring themselves out, and eventually they'll either make the right choice or the wrong choice.
Yeah. I like to be patient. I was a really big dumbass for a really long time. So
We were dumbasses, but
I'm still
we
a
never
dumbass.
sold out.
yeah. I mean, I was like a far bigger dumbass, I would say. Almost maybe would have joined the army if I could have.
No, you wouldn't have. There was
Probably
no
not.
way I was ever joining the army. Even when I was a libertarian, I was like one of those libertarians that like was an anti-war libertarian.
Yeah.
Like I was like the type of libertarian who thought that the only type of army we should have is like a volunteer reserves for self-defense purposes only. All drugs should be legal. Close all borders. That's the type of libertarian I was. I just like believed in capitalism.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, yeah. Can
okay,
we
we
can we reel it
basically
back to Pete though, because he's a troop and he keeps bringing that up.
Yes. Pete, the troop.
Pete, the troop who talks about gun control and
Ugh.
sucks at it. I love
Yeah,
how
oh.
he goes and he says weapons of war when he's talking about M4s and AR-15s. Like the only difference between an M4 and an AR-15 is a fire selector. Pretty much like one goes automatic and the other one is semi-automatic. But it's just like when he talks about that, it's just so disingenuous, and I hate it because he didn't handle weapons of war. He was an intel officer in Afghanistan, and
Really?
And he
Yeah.
also uses that kind of language where he's like, we should only be using these weapons overseas against people in the Middle East.
Exactly. We should only be using these to be killing brown children, not our pure white children in our high schools.
Yeah, exactly. It's so gross, dude. I'm
Pete
like,
Buttigieg on stage, just like, look, assault rifle or AR-15 stands for assault rifle. M4 stands for machine gun 4. It's the fourth machine.
yeah.
But yeah, like if you ever seen like the pictures that Pete takes with his weapons, like there's the one
Are
with
those
Pete in like full battle rattle. He's got like his elbow pads, shoulder pads, knee pads on, and then you look if you look closely at like his chest rig, his plate carrier. Like he's holding that M4, but he doesn't have any mag pouches for it. He just has like pistol magazine pouches for it. So it's just like he's not ready to take that M4 into battle. He's ready to like take his M9 into battle.
So is he like stealing other troops' valor?
Yeah, he's basically stolen valor anytime that he posts a picture of himself with an M4.
Damn. I didn't know that.
Because like
It's
He's even
interesting.
more fake than I thought.
oh yeah, super fake. Like he's I'm so certain that he never fired his weapon downrange because he wasn't combat arms. He was intel.
And that's probably why he speaks like 100 languages, they say, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
He
sense.
speaks all-
That's why they like him. That's why like the liberal, whatever, like the Seth MacFarlanes and the Bill Maher's like him. They just want someone who like has the appearance of being smart. They don't care about good policies. They just don't like that Trump is dumb. If they had the same exact policies, if Trump had the same policies, but he was like well spoken, I don't even know if they would hate him that much.
Oh,
it's
absolutely
very-
not. Like who would you say is the smart Trump? Who would you say is a smart Trump right now? Because I
Like
on the Republican side.
oh yeah, a smart Republican Trump that people could all get behind. on the Republican side.
Honestly,
Probably Mitt Romney.
yeah, no, Mitt Romney is
Mitt
he
Romney
is
used
a
to be a
little more
Democrat,
anti-Trump.
which is just like Trump.
Yeah. Trump voted Democrat for a while. So did Mitt Romney. They're both businessmen.
I think like Rand Paul, like he always like there's always some like moderates that end up liking Rand Paul, even though Rand Paul is evil to the core and like cuts funding for like healthcare for 9/11 victims. Like he's evil to the core, but like he's well spoken, and like a lot of moderates end up liking Rand.
Yeah.
I don't know about Rand Paul, but like my brother-in-law, he loves Rand Paul. He ended up getting a picture with him when he saw him when he was down here for his wedding or something. He got a picture with Rand Paul. But
that's pretty. My mom has a picture with Newt Gingrich.
Oh, nice. Love Newt. But no, I heard people talk about this one senator, Josh Hawley, saying that he's basically,
I don't know if I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's kind of new. Like he's a young guy, like 39 for the Senate. He's basically Trump's policies, but well spoken. Like he doesn't go around saying grab him by the pussy and calling people's countries shitholes or anything like that. But he still like pretends to love the troops and hates the immigrants. All that jazz. Fake news.
Fake news. That's the most important part, I think. Is making. I think that's a very underrated part of Trump's rhetoric, is just making people not believe anything that the Democrats say.
Absolutely.
Just saying it's all fake news. Just kind of putting them in a bubble of being like, anything that contradicts what I believe is just fake. I have friends that have been going that direction where we've been like watching them slide further and further right. And if we try to like be like, well, no, bro, look at this, look at these statistics about like the actual effect of immigration and blah blah blah, they'll be like, that is from a fake news site.
That's from like, the liberal whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you can't use statistics either, because like they'll just use whatever statistics they want. Like there's the statistic that they use saying like blacks do X% of the crime. I don't know what it is. What do you know what the number is? Because I know y'all listen to racist people that say those numbers.
Yeah, right. Basically, black men commit half of all murders in spite of making up
10% of the population.
Yeah, they're a little less than 10% of the population.
So like
black men.
They're gonna use whatever numbers they deem convenient for their worldview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyone could do that. That's a lot of what I learned about like my libertarian streak. Is you could just whatever you believe. The internet is a huge place. You can find whatever numbers you want to support what you believe.
Yeah, it's true. And that brings us to night 2.
Night 2. Night 2 was much less exciting.
Before we get to night 2, I think I remember seeing something that was so absurd. I think someone said that there was an article put out by Fox News or something, or maybe the Daily Wire, that said like the Green New Deal would cost $4 quadrillion or something.
What? $4 quadrillion.
Yeah, I looked at the number of zeros. I'm like, wait a minute.
It'll cost $90 bajillion.
It'll
Can you believe that?
A Brazilian.
Can you believe that it's gonna? It's like, but to be honest, though, that's like how I feel whenever I look at our debt. People are like, "You guys, the debt is $100 trillion." I'm like, but okay.
What if
it just gets bigger and bigger? It's fine.
The whole system is made based off of debt. Yeah. It was like, oh, we need to spend more money and we don't have it. Well, we'll just borrow it and keep borrowing it and keep borrowing it. We're not gonna pay it back. The dollar is just gonna lose value until forever.
Yeah, and then like they're lowering the interest rate trying to lower the interest rate on the Fed again, even though the stock market's doing well. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? None of it matters. It's all fake.
Right.
And the Green New Deal is going to cost $100 quintillion. Okay, and that's fine. We'll make it work.
All currency just borrow. Is fake. Like currency isn't real.
Right. It's just an idea.
Yeah. It's just a proxy. It's just a proxy for us to trade goods and services, folks.
There's a libertarian listening to this right now. having an aneurysm.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with
What
that.
do you mean my bitcoins aren't real?
I have $200 in Bitcoin from
Nice.
when I was a libertarian, and I'm just like, well, it's not that much. I'm just gonna hold on to it till the world ends. So
Buy some ketamine
Um,
with it.
yeah,
We have done that before.
yeah, and some 5-meo PCP. It was a little crazy.
No, that was too not good.
I tried to eyeball the dose, and it didn't go well.
Ketamine was probably too far too.
Shouldn't have eyeballed it.
Never eyeball powdered drugs
Did not
from
have
the
a,
internet.
Did not have
kids.
a microgram scale because those cost $1,000. Oh, I almost forgot to mention Delaney because he's just
we need to
so.
talk about
I
Delaney.
forgot to talk about Delaney, but he just is so. He's
Fucking weird.
just. I don't even understand. It's just like his face. I don't understand what his
You
what
kept
his
making
skull
that
must look
funny
like.
smile. Bill Dotree looking motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like I don't even understand. I'm just some phrenology about Delaney. I don't know what
like
his
some
skull must.
Get my calipers here.
Yeah, for him to look like that, and for his face for him to make those facial expressions, I don't even know what's going on under there. And he's useless. Get off the stage. You're a Republican.
I think he's being paid by big oil interests and pharmaceutical industry to just try and like disrupt Sanders. He's just trying to take away from Sanders.
I think he's being paid for by Big Bernie to show how much of a scam the health insurance industry is. Because don't forget, Delaney is a health insurance businessman. That's why he's so rich. Is because he worked in health insurance. Like he kept trying to brag, saying, "I'm the only one up here who knows the health insurance business like nobody else here." And that's when Bernie got mad. And Bernie got mad, and he's like, "It's not a business."
Yeah, it shouldn't be a business. That's the whole point.
Holy shit! I didn't ever care enough about Delaney to know that that's how he made money.
Oh, I didn't care either until he said it on the debate stage. I'm like, oh, you stupid idiot.
Fucking asshole.
And it's like, how is he like that clueless? That's the whole point that we're trying to make, is that the fact that it's a business is what's destroying people's lives. You dumb motherfucker. With no chin. No offense to my weak chin kings.
Let's
out
talk
there.
about Marianne. Let's see. There's important things to be said about Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
Dark psychic energies was my favorite line of the debate.
That's true.
That was the best moment. She got the biggest applause breaks. That's for sure.
Yeah, Marianne. People on the left are now officially getting mad that other people on the left are giving her a lot of attention still because they don't like her like new age bullshit. But I think that it's fine. That's what I'm gonna say.
I mean, she's not going to get elected, so why are you making a stink about it? But I understand when people get upset about vaccinations. They call her the anti-vax candidate because she supports parents' right to not vaccinate their children, which they don't have a right to do that.
But then again, but this is what I read. She used to, but as in terms of actual policy, she's tweeted multiple times that she supports mandatory vaccinations and that she's trying to send the psychic energy into the world that she's no longer anti-vax. And she believes that vaccinations are important for the health of our country and that she supports mandatory vaccinations. She's tweeted that multiple times that I've seen. So
did y'all happen to see the Will Menaker tweet of him doubling down on Marianne?
Wait, what?
No, was that recent?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. Will Menaker tweeted just an hour ago.
Shit.
Weigh whatever nonsense Marianne has ever said about vaccines or spiritual healing against the careers and records of Harris, Biden, Buttigieg, etc., and try to make an honest assessment of what's killed more people. Orb emoji. So
it's pretty good.
I mean, Marianne's rhetoric with regards to health and spirituality and vaccinations hasn't killed as many people as, say, the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
That is a good point. We can do two things at once and say that you should get vaccinations and go to the doctor.
Fuck it. I'll say it. Don't vaccinate your kids. Let's fucking end this whole thing. Let's go in a blaze of glory. Let's get a nice little virus epidemic that kills everyone. I'll be anti-vax.
So you're saying Marianne is the black pill candidate?
IRL.
Yes, exactly. And that way Marianne is a black pill candidate as well. Okay. I think we've come to a good conclusion there.
Yes.
Scooter's going to get some chocolate chip cookies. Ooh, that was a good call. Wow, I forgot that we had cookies. Oh my god.
It's not a real Failchildren podcast if we're not eating on the mic.
And I think in summary, I agree. For night one, I do agree with you that I think and Liz did a great job working together as probably the leftermost. I mean, absolutely the leftermost candidates. And to me, it almost seemed like Warren was potentially trying to like not alienate Bernie to the point where if, you know, they could form a coalition, like someone as a VP or whatever. That's
Absolutely.
what almost it kind of read to me with the way that they were working together on the debate stage rather than attacking each other.
I mean,
so
as
much.
soon as the left unifies a candidate, I mean, there's enough support between Warren and Bernie. As soon as the left decides who they want, they're going to be in first place.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then night 2 was just astounding to me to see how badly Joe Biden is doing, just like I think health-wise. Do you know what I'm saying? I felt like
sent to Joe 3032.
That was so funny.
Text Joe to 281-330-800 Joe.
oh my
Mike
god.
Jones.
Mike Jones. I was so confused when he did that. It's just like, what do you want me to do, man? Send you a fax?
I love I had no idea what he was talking about. He had no idea.
Like, come on, Joe
Like-
Biden, just say joebiden.com. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Everybody like bought the domains immediately.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Joe 3030, it like links to someone else's campaign.
I think
Yeah,
it was
it's so
Buttigieg.
fucking good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It reminded me of like the way that my grandma like replies to me on Facebook. She'll be like, "This is a lovely picture," and then she'll be like, "Caroline," just respond with her name. I'll be like, "Thank you, Grandma." It's that same energy of just like not really knowing how technology works. Just, I think he just got confused.
What do you think happened?
With Joe?
Yeah, like why did he say that?
Because he's old and like he's nervous because everyone's been mean to him for the first time in his life. Everybody's just being
Yeah.
mean to him. Like, did you see Joe's
Wow.
face? He was so sad when people were talking to him. It was like he found out that Bo died again.
Oh no! Oh my god! I did feel like he looked so hurt. He looked like a hurt puppy, bro. Whenever
He's
it's
really
just
funny guy.
his face when other people were talking, and he just like his hands, like he would move his hands up to his face for a second, and then put him back down, and just so downcast. I was like, man, people are just brutalizing this old man right now. This is rough.
He feels an obligation to do it because he feels like if he had ran in 2016, he would have won and Donald Trump would have lost, and he feels like he has to do that again this election, and it's just so bad for his soul because he everybody's being
Probably
mean
right.
to him.
I haven't heard that take that he should have ran.
Oh yeah,
He
I mean,
probably would have won.
Yeah, I think he would have won if he ran in 2016, possibly. I mean, who knows? Like, we're all out of the business of making predictions, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
I think he would have won. Trump.
I mean,
I think-
yeah, I mean, they ran the worst candidate possible against Donald Trump, Jill Stein. So, I mean,
Yeah.
no, Hill Dog. Like, if it was anybody but Hillary, they probably could have beat Trump.
Yeah, it's just even. I think that Hillary had so much baggage, and there was no Republicans who'd be willing to vote for her, or moderate Republicans, or even like independents that were right leaning who'd be willing to switch over to vote for her because of just all the Bill Clinton shit and just oh god, it was just
She's another one.
Garbage.
Kind
Just
of like
total
Joe
garbage.
Biden. I loved hating her.
yeah.
Just chilling in Cedar Rapids is still like something I look up like once a month. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this video again.
Literally, Hillary Clinton is like probably the one of the main reasons that I got radicalized to being like edgelord, anti-SJW libertarian is because I like supported Bernie and I fucking hated Hillary so much. And then I'd watch like YouTubers like dunk on Hillary Clinton. And I was like, yeah, this rules, dude. I watched like Chris Ray Gun and people like dunk on Hillary Clinton. And before I knew it, I was like watching Gavin McInnes videos. I was like, well, how'd I get here? This sucks ass.
See,
God, she sucks.
I was with her in 2016, and I was still with her until like maybe like 6 months after the election. And I was just like, you know what? They really did screw the Poocherino here, so I ain't with her.
I am one of those people that the like resistors get mad about that was like a Bernie supporter that literally sat out because it was I didn't
Yeah.
vote.
I voted for Hillary because I live in Florida and my vote matters.
Mm,
But my
Yeah.
mom, she was a Bernie bro, and she wrote in Bernie.
that's amazing.
And I'm
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I think it's just
come
funny.
on, mom. Like our vote matters here. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. In a swing state, I would have voted for Hillary. I even wrote one of the songs that we have coming out. That's the lyrics are about how my vote doesn't matter, and theoretically moving to a swing state to have a voice in the process. Because we live in a state that's so red that it is voting for the president is just like it's just like to go do a thing for fun. Like it
Better
doesn't
dead than
matter at all.
red.
yeah, like I live in a really red district in Florida, and I just saw like who they're running up against. Matt Gaetz, who's my congressman.
Matt Gaetz is your congressman?
Yeah, he's my congressman. That's why I send him death
Oh
threats all
my
the time.
oh my god! Oh, I feel so bad.
Yeah, did you not see my
Oh,
did you not see my tweet thread on the town halls? Like I went to his town halls.
oh, I didn't know.
That's right.
I
You
did
were like
see
gonna
that.
throw the
Yeah, I was
but you
gonna.
drank it.
I was. It's not that I drank it. It's just that the cops were all over him. I was just like, I don't feel like
Oh,
getting shot today.
yeah, I
If
totally
you did,
agree
that would
with
have been a
you.
fucking great way to go out.
I feel like in Florida, that's like straight up sketch. Like, shit's wild over there sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, they
Um,
were able to do it in Pensacola because there's actually protesters, but there was nobody saying anything about Gates in a bad way in the Funiac Springs or Navarre where he did his other two town halls.
yeah, you had no backup.
Right.
Our congressman is like just this old Mormon dude, and he never tweets. Like he'll occasionally tweet like maybe something that's going on in the district, but he's just like ancient and yeah, he's super super boring.
His favorite thing to do is deny kids with what is the disease?
Oh, with like epilepsy,
Yeah,
medical marijuana.
Kids
That's
with
like
epilepsy aren't allowed to get medical marijuana in our state.
yeah, we don't have any.
All thanks to that guy.
Yeah, our state is just so behind on even the possibility of legalizing medical marijuana, and there's tons of activism that people are trying to do here to get people to like, think about it or even talk about it, but our politicians are like fuck no, this is never going to happen in a million years.
They said that they will be the last state to legalize.
Yeah, our politicians have come out and said, yeah, we will let every state legalize marijuana before us.
Yeah, like Florida legalized medicinal marijuana in I think 2016, and my county is the only one that like is like, let's not do that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like
That
Matt
sucks.
Gaetz, like I saw one of the people that's running in the primary to unseat him is they're doing the troop identity politics again. It's just like that's not gonna work. I don't know what
Yeah,
would work in this district honestly, but I don't think that running the same type of person that you tried to run in 2016 is gonna work in 2020.
you mean like a Democrat troop to try to unseat him?
Yeah, they're trying to run a Democrat troop, and it's just, he's like a Democrat troop and an engineer or something. It's just like these people aren't gonna listen to you.
Yeah, that's what they
You're
kind
never
of did
gonna
for
rally
our.
support from the left by doing that.
Yeah, we
Well,
like for our governor.
You don't have to rally
they
support
tried
from
to
the
do that.
left in this district because there is no left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then there's no chance anyways. So
Yeah.
you might as well like
Yeah, I mean, the only way to unseat somebody like Matt Gaetz who's so entrenched is to work very hard about voter turnout. Because like the people who are already voting are so solidly in their lane. You got to get other people. who aren't voting.
That makes sense.
See, and that's kind of how it goes everywhere. But we occasionally will have a Democrat as like a congressperson, but they're always super moderate and also Mormon.
And it's been like 30 years.
And it's been 30 years. And we had like a governor try to unseat. Oh, well, I mean, Butch Otter was our old governor, and he recently was like, okay, I'm out forever because he was retiring or whatever. And then it was this guy named Brad Little, who's now our governor, because he obviously won because he's a Republican. But he was like, I'm going to abolish the income tax. I'm going to abolish taxes on groceries. And he was going to make abortion illegal and just all this crazy shit. And then the Democrat was like, this Native American woman who's
pro-life,
very
pro-gun.
Yeah, pro-gun rights. She also was like, she's like, I'm personally pro-life, but think that people should have a choice. She was like so moderate and still just got demolished. Just fucking demolished by a crazy, like, just an insane guy who now is our governor.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the only way to get people, when you got somebody who's entrenched, the only way that you're gonna beat them is not by, steering to the center, but to get people who weren't voting before, to get people excited about somebody, and that takes a lot of energy that the DNC is just not worried about doing.
Well, the people in red districts have already shown historically they're not going to vote for moderate Democrats. There's no support for moderate Democrats amongst right-wingers. So the only way to like actually get people out is through like real leftist populism, like shit that people all agree on, like things that like are polling above the national majority. Like honestly, like there are things that we don't even talk about, like drug legalization, abolishing the prisons. Like these are things that like regular average Joes in like small red counties actually do care about.
Yeah, because it like affects them.
Yeah, I mean,
or their friends.
People care about the schools that their kids go to, in good and bad ways. People care about, being able to afford rent. People care about being able to afford groceries. Like it's gonna take bread and butter issues, to use a shitty centrist term. Like people aren't gonna go for the middle. They need something
like
to get
Kamala
excited
Harris's
about.
her 3 a.m. whatever policies.
Who's?
Kamala, she calls them her 3 a.m. issues, the things that keep her up at night.
Oh my god,
and
I
it's
hate
like
Kamala so much now.
It's like healthcare. I don't even know. It's nothing. She has no stances on anything.
I mean, she has no stances that weren't things that she just like hopped on recently to try to make it seem like she's always been progressive, which is just not true.
Medicare for some.
Yeah, Medicare for some.
All right, I'm
college
done.
forgiveness for some.
Yeah, she's such a snake. She raised her hand on the debate stage and then took her word back on the news the next day.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And denying trans inmates, putting them in the wrong prisons,
that's right.
and then wearing her sequin rainbow jacket that she's gonna return on July 1st. Like,
yeah, fucking so disingenuous.
Can we talk about how the person I hate the most just bodied the other person that I hate the most? I'm talking about Tulsi Gabbard just going hard on Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, that's great to see. It's like when two people you hate like get in a fist fight at the bar, and you're just like, all right,
let them fight gift.
Yeah.
She's talking all about how many people she's put in prison, and then Kamala is later is like, Assad, and it's like, yeah, what about it? You're gonna have to spell it out for the people who don't follow Syria.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna just say the word Assad and expect everyone to know?
Gary Johnson's like, what is Assad?
What is a?
And like, I'm somebody who gets heated about Syria. That's why I hate Tulsi Gabbard. But it's just like the people I respect the most are the people who don't know anything about Syria and choose not to have an opinion on it because they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So you actually appreciated Gary Johnson.
I don't know much.
I appreciated Gary Johnson. Well, actually, I was pretty mad when he said, "What is Aleppo?" but
at least he didn't like Donald Trump would have been like, "Oh, Aleppo disaster." Like at least Gary Johnson was like, "What?"
Oh, Donald Trump tries to pretend that he knows what he's talking about. Somebody asked him about General Qasem Soleimani, the guy who's in charge of the Quds forces, who they fight in Syria. They train the Hezbollah, do things like that. But Donald Trump said in an interview, "Oh, the Kurds? Yeah, I love the Kurds." He hears Quds and he hears Kurds.
Oh my god.
So
That's so he is supposed to. It's like I feel like he has time also to like read up on this stuff, but instead he's just like watching Tucker Carlson and like
Getting
getting a storm of
angry
tweets
at
about it.
like
Like, and
Ilhan
he should
Omar.
be, yeah, maybe I don't know, reading up on it. I don't know. That's just me though. That's maybe just what I would do if I were Donald Trump.
See, the
My
thing
little
that was
opinion.
really weird during the debates, I guess not weird, it's expected. But watching all the fucking neo-Nazis and fascists like talk about how much they love Tulsi.
Yeah.
David Duke loves Tulsi.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, ever since she
David
came
Duke
out and was
also
like,
loves
"I've
Ilhan
talked to
Omar for
Assad."
some reason.
What,
Oh.
really?
Yeah, he was.
Well, he
Because she hates the Jews. He thinks she
Yeah.
hates the.
Yeah, he thinks
Yeah, I
that
think
she's an
he's-
anti-Semite.
And he's like,
Yeah.
that's tight.
yeah, no. And that's the same thing where I think that like Richard Spencer and David Duke have just kind of taken Tulsi. She's like, "Well, I went and talked to Assad," and they're like, "Fuck yeah, we love Assad." So they just kind of roll with that. Same thing with Nicholas Fuentes. He said he does all like the mommy milky memes and stuff.
Oh, God.
So they all love her. Yeah.
Speaking of, I want to address two things with Tulsi. One, that sweaty HIIT workout video that she did. I just want Donald
Oh,
Trump to.
yeah.
I just want Donald Trump to like send out a tweet saying "sweaty Tulsi." And
Oh yeah, like that's
Donald
her
Trump like
nickname.
trying to get.
He's like, "Sweaty Tulsi is a fascist." That's like his thing about her.
no,
I never-
he would never call someone a fascist. That would be an ally. He would call
that's true.
he would call her a socialist.
That's true. What is it? Oh my god! Speaking of that, who was it? Was it
Pete?
De
what's
Blasio.
what's his name? De Blasio,
Oh.
or was it
Yeah.
Inslee?
No, it was De Blasio
It was
that
De Blasio
said
that was
said
saying.
Oh, you said that Donald Trump is a socialist? Yeah, that was de Blasio.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I hate that shit so much. They're like, "You're the real socialist," and then the Nazis are like, "Antifa's the real fascist." And it's like,
Everyone's
everyone,
just the
Shut
opposite.
the fuck up. What are we all saying?
Yeah,
Can we pause on that?
when Bill de
for a second?
Blasio said that, like, it's just like he's got all the right sentiments. Like, he knows what he's supposed to be saying, but he also doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you remember when he was at an event and he said "Hasta la Victoria siempre," and then he immediately
yeah.
walked it back.
He's like, "Oh, sorry. I'm trying to
oh,
Che
the
Guevara quote." said."
Gusanos didn't
awesome.
like that. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so fucking good.
That was the
Yeah,
coolest
he
thing.
just keeps like stumbling into being good on accident, but then he's like, "Fuck. I'm supposed
didn't
to be
mean
a
to be
shill
good."
for the." God damn it! And then he walks it back. Yang. I think that Yang made a really good show with the short time they gave him to at the debates last night.
Oh, I thought he had a long
It's-
tie.
What?
I was trying to make a
Oh.
bad pun.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't hear you.
Scrub that out, Scooter. Scrub that out.
Yeah,
Scooter, scrub it
I
out.
can edit it out. I'll edit out all the bad shit I said too.
Yeah,
we'll edit
Scooter
out
always-
we'll edit out the gamer words.
Yeah, Scooter always tries to make himself sound better.
All the slurs we said at the opening.
And then he uses like the audio deep fakes to make me say really bad stuff
Yeah.
and lame jokes.
Deep
Yeah,
fake
so
news.
anything dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
No, leave this in. This is
That's what-
great. We're riffing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that I was really proud of Yang. I think that I think a lot of his policies are not well thought out, especially because I'm like somebody that is gonna have to get on like disability at some point. Once
Yeah.
my muscle condition like deteriorates to a certain point, and Scooter's dad is on disability.
The fact that Yang wants to slash entitlements in favor of UBI is just one of the most I'm trying not to say the R word. Ridiculous things.
Yeah,
The other R word.
it's true. It's the other R word, ridiculous.
I usually say it. I
it's just
I like start to say it and then I go into ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
it's an easy save.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like Yang's trying to, appeal to all sides because there's always those people who are like, oh, where's the money going to come from? And so like we print our own money all the time. You don't ask where the money comes from when we buy bombs for the Saudis or
Bail out the banks.
yeah, bail out the banks. But
Mhm.
the UBI thing, like he's one of those people who's just like, well, we got to make some cuts. We're gonna make new social welfare programs.
Yeah, like he is literally, and people call him out on this. He's planning on giving $1,000 to people that don't need it, and making people that would definitely need $1,000 on top of maybe getting 900, having to live off 900 a month for like disability, and making them pick between that they're already getting and is not enough, and getting the $1,000 UBI. Like it's just so not thought out. And he's not talking at all about like, well, everything's getting automated, like owning all the automation machines while we're all getting doled out fucking pittance. It's just like, but he did use the word capital in the debate, which I
Yeah,
liked.
unfortunately, as bad as Yang is, he's probably in my top 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think my
Some
tier
taste.
listing right now is Bernie, of course, Marianne, Liz, and then Yang and Inslee are fighting for number 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think
I
that
have
that's
the
a
same list, except I'd flip Marianne.
Yeah,
Say
I'd
that
say
again.
that-
You do what with Marianne? Oh no, I'm not trying to make it a thing. You cut out.
oh, flip Marianne.
No, I would do a 3-way with Mary.
Oh, so you were
And
saying
Bernie-
something sexual?
Bernie is videotaping.
Actually, the real 3-way would be with Gillibrand and Gabbard.
The real 3-way would be with Hickenlooper and Joe Biden.
Shut the fuck up. For real, Kaylee, who's your pick? Your real 3-way. Beto, probably. He's good looking.
Yeah, probably Kamala and Beto.
Ooh, that's hot, actually.
Yeah.
I would do that one. What about you, Jenkins? Who's your 3-way?
Daddy Bernie and Orbit Mom.
Yeah, that's good. I like people with some experience, you know.
Yeah, I'm the reverse. I'm the reverse Epstein.
You just like the olds.
Yeah,
That's
I'm,
so
I'm,
good.
I'm here for the old people. I don't own an island. I'm not a billionaire.
You hate children.
Yeah.
You fucking hate them.
I don't even like to go near kids. Yeah, I don't like looking at them. But speaking of Inslee, I really like that he's seriously talking about climate change,
Yeah.
which is like a huge.
Yeah, and he's getting mad about it, and I love that.
Yeah. I was like surprised
He's
to
right.
hear.
When he goes, look, none of you on this stage are addressing climate change properly.
Yeah.
And he's fucking right about that.
And
Yeah,
I don't think he's probably addressing it properly either. He's probably just gonna be like, let's do more cap and trade because cap and trade works, right? Let's do carbon taxes because carbon taxes. I don't think that's. I haven't actually looked at Jay Inslee. I'm talking out of my ass here, but
I'm just going off the debates.
I'm just going off the top of my head. Like this is the
like-
vibe I get from him.
But Joe Biden was talking about his plans on climate change. He's like, well, by 2030, everyone will be driving an electric car. Like that is not gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is electric cars. The energy has to come from somewhere. We can all be driving electric cars, but they're gonna be powered by what? What is it still? Are we gonna still be relying on coal and natural gas?
No. It needs to be nuclear. There's no. That's my biggest gripe with the Sanders campaign right now is that they are not willing to do nuclear power, and it's nuclear power if done properly is clean, it's efficient, and it is the only thing that could replace our current power grid. Solar, fucking wind, like hydroelectric, none of that shit has the power that nuclear can generate. Nuclear is the only solution, and Bernie just doesn't like it because it's run by billionaires right now.
All right, let me give you my take on nuclear. For one,
Let's
it's going to be too slow for us to implement in time. Nuclear power plants take a long time to build. Two, nuclear waste doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. What we do with most of our nuclear waste is we build pools and put them in there, or we just dump it in the Arctic Ocean.
True.
Which
But if
isn't the
it's
worst thing
stored
because water
properly-
is a really good shield for nuclear radiation. But I mean,
Also, if stored properly, it will never be any sort of spill. If you like actually go through like the right procedural methods for like storing it, it's actually really safe.
but I think that the solution isn't going to be to just meet our same energy demands with nuclear energy instead of solar and wind. I think that our what we need to do, and it's super radical, but we're going to have to reduce our energy consumption and our production, because a lot of our energy consumption is for big business. Like look at all the things that we produce just for the sake of producing them, that we just throw away, like paper plates, plastic forks. All these things are being produced in plants,
Yeah.
and we're just throwing these things away. It's just like there's a finite amount of energy that we can actually extract from the sources of energy that we have, with regards to nuclear and fossil fuels, and even wind and hydro and solar, because there's only going to be a finite number of solar panels we can dig out of the earth and manufacture.
Right. That's my biggest problem with solar and wind, is that they are very coal reliant.
And I agree with you that I think it's very radical, but I think that it's literally going to take like putting something in place, like a revolutionary government who's like, hey guys, no one's allowed to use oil anymore. You know?
It's not even that. It's just like, hey, we're not going to be going for maximum profit anymore, because
Yeah.
capitalism is all about growth for the sake of growth, and like the reason our energy demands are so high is because of growth.
Yeah. It's true.
I stand by what I said. I think can.
I think
we
that
can
implementing
reduce-
nuclear over the next couple decades, after we just halt a
I
lot of what we're doing.
I think that nuclear.
But people are afraid of nuclear.
I am afraid of nuclear. I don't want nuclear on a small scale. I think it should only be used on super heavily dense urban areas like New York City, because they have those high energy demands. But like nuclear is just not the solution, because there was a school in the Midwest, I think it was Ohio. They had to close the school because of a radiation leak only just a few months ago.
Yeah, right
And,
now,
I
as
mean,
it
if we
stands right
replaced our
now, we don't
entire-
have the infrastructure.
If we replaced our entire energy grid with nuclear, that's going to be so much more common. Because the reason it
Yeah.
doesn't happen so much is because we don't have a nuclear power plant on every block.
Yeah, it's true. We don't have the infrastructure or current technology to safely meet our current energy demands with nuclear. That's just not realistic. But I think that it's something that we could implement, as you said, in large areas. I think that it's a lot better now than the scary stories a long time ago from Chernobyl or whatever, or Fukushima or what it was.
Fukushima.
Fukushima.
Yeah.
That's not
I
that
almost
long
got it.
ago. Fukushima was like only a few years ago, like 2012ish. But it's just like
Yeah.
these nuclear power plants, they take time to build, and we don't have time.
I agree. I think that we need to do something very soon
Yesterday.
to really, really dramatically
Yeah,
decrease
it's
what
already
we're
too
doing.
late. Send the nukes. Some of the space comrades.
Will you get the door? That means we have to wrap up here.
Okay, you grab the door? Or I can-
Kaylee, you
Sorry,
grab
sorry,
the door. Jenkins, thank you so much for coming on the pod. It was a great time. We ought to have you back.
For sure. I'll be y'all's political Posadas correspondent.
Hell yeah. Kaylee, come say goodbye to the podcast real quick. Our friend just showed up to steal our sound equipment. So yeah, we kind of have to wrap it up. Say goodbye to Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I saw.
All right.
All right.
We
deuces.
appreciate you. Thank you
Deuces
so much.
wild.
And we'll see you back on the Twitter sphere.
All right. See ya.